anytime. So let's keep this going. And I'm now going to ask you, what is a certain challenge you face in life, and how did you overcome that certain challenge?
Well, I've had a lot of challenges like most people. And I think the biggest challenge that I have had to overcome, and I have to admit, I still have to keep working on it, is believing in myself, right? Because the one thing I know is that when sometimes uh, I have a challenge or I have a new opportunity or maybe a chance for a new job or a better job or whatever it is. If I really am honest, the first thing that comes to my mind in the past would be, I can't do that. Oh my goodness, no, there's no way I could do that. I just didn't believe in myself. Now, through life, through my experiences, I started to gain a lot more confidence. And so after a while, I didn't respond that way immediately, right? How I catch myself and I'm like, "Hey, what how do you know you can't do this? You've never done this before." And so now I catch myself and I flip what I say. And I go, "You know what? You're going to give it your best shot. You're going, yeah, sure, you can do this. And what if you fail? Who cares? It doesn't matter." So I think believing in myself was probably the biggest challenge I had to overcome. And I still, every once in a while, that lack of confidence sneaks in there. But for the most part, my immediate response now is, well, let's see what happens. This could be really cool. And so I think I've dealt with that pretty well, but it takes a lot of intentional effort to do that because that's a hard one to overcome. But it can be done if we talk to ourselves like a really good friend instead of talking to ourselves like many of us do, which is saying some pretty rotten things. So definitely believing in myself. That's the one I've had to overcome the most.
Wow, I definitely agree. Like, there's sometimes you may not succeed on the first try, but I say that's okay because not everyone can get things perfectly on the first try. Sometimes people need some more practice and sometimes need to improve their skills. And that's the beauty of keeping things going and doing your best, and especially practicing and getting better and better, because sometimes you might need more than like 10, 20, or 30 tries to get things perfectly. And that's the beauty of improving your skills in general.
It is. And I think most of us, when we try new stuff, most of us aren't very good at it. I'm still trying to find that thing that I've never done before that I'm really, really good at the first time. It's never happened. I've always had to keep practicing. I've always had to figure out how to do it better. Like I'm not a singer, right? I mean, the when I try to sing, I wish I could somebody would say, "I can't believe you are that good." Nobody has ever said that to me because I really can't sing. I'm not an artist. That's not like some hidden talent that I have. But I do have other talents and other skills, but I kind of have to work at them. There's no magical thing out there that I ever tried where I went, wow, I rocked that the first time. But that doesn't bother me so much anymore. I think after a while you kind of enjoy the challenge of it, or at least I do. And I like watching myself get better. I like watching myself improve.
You know what? Yeah, I agree with you. It's good to watch yourself keep practicing and improving your skills and getting better and better, because that's just how we learn and grow our minds. And if we don't learn and grow our minds, then how would we learn new things, or how would we keep practicing and improving our skills otherwise? Like, what's the point in stopping your brain from growing and stopping yourself from learning so you could learn new things or practice new things so you could get better?
Correct. I'm right there with you, Jacob. 100%.
Yeah, I'm there with you too. So now let's keep this going. And I'm going to ask you, how did you stay positive and keep moving forward during difficult times, including your health journey?
Well, that's a really good question. I've been very, very, very lucky. I had a wonderful family. My mom and dad and my brothers were always there when I was sick and maybe a little afraid because things might not turn out as well as I wanted. And I also have a wonderful husband and daughter and grandchildren and so when I have to do really hard things, when I had to go through cancer so many times, I was so lucky because I had people who were literally holding me up. They were right there with me and I think that makes a lot of difference. And it's funny because when you get sick, especially when you have cancer, sometimes you assume certain people are going to be there, and it ends up sometimes it's people you don't expect. Um, and that's okay because, not everybody handles illness really well. And they don't know what to do. And then other people who you would have never thought would even care were the ones that sometimes stepped in and made the biggest difference. So definitely my social support system made a lot of difference for me. I also happen to have a lot of faith, and I think that helps. But for the most part, it was my family who just were always there to lift me up and make me laugh and make sure that I felt safe. And so I've been very, very, very lucky that way.
You know what? I have to agree. It's good to have family members, including your parents, your siblings, your grandparents, and even pets to lift you up and cheer you on during tough times because there are going to be some times where things get tough, but it's good to know that you have family and friends who are there for you and have always got your back even during tough times because having people who you know always have your back is great because they'll be able to cheer you up during tough times, cheer you on when trying something new. So, yeah, it's good to know that you have people, including family and friends, who have got your back and can cheer you up anytime.
Yep, yep. I'm very, very, very lucky.
Yeah. I'm lucky for you as well. So we're going to keep this going. And now I'm going to ask you, what advice would you give to someone who is struggling with bullying, self-confidence, or feeling different from others?
Wow, that's a really good question. Well, there's a couple of things. So when you're young and you're going through school, it can be really hard. And I remember because it was really hard for me. And we didn't even have social media, which makes it way harder. Um, what I would tell people is number one, don't carry whatever is happening alone. Don't carry that around by yourself. Don't don't just pretend it's not happening and not say anything. Telling my mom or my brothers or my dad or somebody made it so I didn't have to carry that all myself. Because sometimes we have to go through hard stuff and we can't change other people's behaviors. They're we can't do that. They're going to do their own thing. But talking to my mom or my family really helped me at least tell them how bad I was feeling. And then they were able to help me with that. The other thing was this, you know, I had to make sure that everything other people said to me, I didn't own because most of it, if not all of it, wasn't true. The fact that people can pick on us when we're young, and it's very obvious if for example, for me, I was an overweight kid. And so that was a very obvious thing that people could pick on me about. And they did. And I hated it. And I felt really bad about it. But I also would do things outside of school that made me feel really special. Right. And I would, work with musical theater, or I played music with my brothers, or, whatever I was doing. I knew that that was something that was special about me. As I got older, I realized that everything those people were saying, it wasn't true. It wasn't true. And so the biggest thing is I would tell people is don't take what other people are saying and believe it, because it's not true. None of it's true.
You know what? I definitely have to agree. Nobody should ever listen to what other people think of them because everyone is unique. And if people are just going to put them down in the dumps and discourage them, then they shouldn't be listening to those kinds of people because those people just want to be mean
Yeah,
and rude. Like, nobody wants that in life. And if people are going to be mean to you, then why listen to them or why let them put you down in life, make you feel different and make you stand out from others? Who wants that?
that's right. That's right. And usually when people are bullying others, they're really miserable people. They're really sad people, angry people. They're hurting people, and they themselves are hurting in some way because when people feel really good about themselves, they don't lash out at others. So there's also that piece of it that when people are bullying others, it's usually because their lives are kind of miserable.
Yeah, people can sometimes go through miserable lives, unfortunately, but even if you're going through a miserable life or have some things that are going on with your life that make your life tough, don't just be mean about it. Don't let other people put you down all because of it, because there might be some people going through some tough times in their lives, but you can't let that affect you, or you can't be mean about it because of the tough times that you're going through in life. Just, and if you have nothing nice to say, then don't say it at all.
That's right. Golden rule. We all need to go by that.
We really do, honestly. It's a very important rule, and it's really a golden rule in my book.
Mine too, Jacob.